Welcome to the show, everybody. How you doing? Mark Farzy here with the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie. It's nice to have you along for the ride after the Phillies take a 1-0 series lead on the Miami Marlins, and hopefully wrap things up tonight with an 8:08 start time and Aaron Nola on the hill. Zach Wheeler's a bit of a tough act to follow if you're Aaron Nola. Zach Wheeler was dominant. We're going to let you hear from Zach Wheeler after the game last night. Best stuff of the season. Best stuff of the season, according to Zach Wheeler. When it came to the sweeper, the best the sweeper has felt all year. We'll get to that conversation. We'll get to just everybody hits. Every starter in this Phillies lineup got a hit last night. And you're talking about Johan Rojas. You're talking about Christian Pache, who people did not want in the starting lineup, despite the fact that a lefty was on the mound last night for the Miami Marlins against Luzardo. Rob Thompson decided to have Christian Pache make the start there in left field as opposed to Brandon Marsh. I had no problem with it. I was a little surprised to see the outcry for Brandon Marsh to make the start. I understand that he has been the everyday guy. He's been with you throughout the entire season and all that, and Pache was a guy who was injured most of the year. But with the matchup, I give Rob Thompson all the credit in the world. It's a tough call to make, but it was the right call to make, and it proved to be the right call to make. It wasn't like Pache went out there and struggled. He helped you mightily last night. So we'll get into that conversation. We'll also talk about our boy Nick Castellanos, because, ladies and gentlemen, if there was ever going to be a guy to flip off his teammates, it would be Nick Castellanos. So when I saw what transpired last night, I had this thought. I go, did he just flip off his teammates? He just flipped off his teammates. They went to the reverse angle because originally they show him getting that hustle double down the right field line. And then he jumps up, right, with the camera, with the shot from the front, and you see him go like this really quick. And it's like, what? Huh? What? And my first thought, I swear, was that Nick Castellanos, if only Nick Castellanos is the only Philly who I would think would do that. And it would be lighthearted. It would be funny. It would be a joke. Anybody else, I would have been like, oh, he showed the ring finger. Like, probably the first thing on my mind would have been he showed the ring finger. But Nick Castellanos, the guy who just gives zero zero actual middle fingers about what he says, what he does, and he does it in a lighthearted fashion, in a funny way, not in like a venomous way or anything like that. So I see that, and I go, oh, that makes sense. And then they do the angle from behind him where it does look like the middle finger, and it's like, oh, yeah, he definitely did it. Now, of course, as we know, it was not. It was the ring finger. But as it turns out, we found out after the game from Kyle Schwarber, he had the exact same thought process I did. And I think a lot of us had. It was like, well, did he just flip the bird? And then Nick Castellanos, when John Clark caught up with him after the game, Nick Castellanos was asked about it. John Clark, credit to John Clark for asking the question, and rightfully so. People thought he flipped the bird. The bird, he goes, no, why would I give the bird to my teammates? And I'm like, because you're Nick Castellanos and you're weird AF. Anyway, so it turned out not to be the bird, and to put a button on that one, put a bow on that one, as Jody McDonald likes to say. So that was an interesting little thing here. Zach Wheeler's dominance, the offense, the ring finger of Nick Castellanos, and on an unfortunate note, what the hell was Dusty Wathan doing last night? that was my only negative thing to take away from last night's game. And I wouldn't even pay attention to it. If the Phillies won, all right, I'm happy that they won. If this was maybe the second game of the series where the Phillies clinch and they move on, or if it was them clinching the NLDS and they move on, it wouldn't even be a footnote. But the fact that it's the first game of the playoffs, it's like Dusty Wathan is not about to have struggles as a third base coach, is he? And I was surprised to see last night in the comments during Fighting's postgame on the Jacob Media YouTube channel. I was surprised to see the amount of comments about Dusty Wathan sucks. Dusty Wathan's not good. Why do people talk about Dusty Wathan? He's good and he's not. I have no problem with Dusty Wathan. I like Dusty Wathan. I think he has been a very good third base coach for you. Last night he had a bad game. Here's my stance on the situations at hand here, okay? First inning, you have Kyle Schwarber on third base. Let's go through it real quick. First inning. Also later on, we're going to hear from Hollis Thomas. He was on the show yesterday. In case you missed it, I want you guys to hear, in case you missed it, I want you to hear Hollis's take on this team being 4-0. Okay? And then we're going to get into Sean Desai's comments about James Bradberry, because I am not one for James Bradberry being in the slot anymore. I think he's way too valuable on the outside. And yesterday, Dave Zingaro, friend of the show, NBC Sports Philadelphia, Dave Zingaro asked the question, I thought he put it perfectly. Are you getting enough value out of James Bradberry in the slot with how good he is as an outside corner? I thought that was the perfect way to put that question. And we'll hear Sean Desai's answer on that coming up a little bit later in the show today. So, yes, we will be talking Eagles today as well. But let's go through it here. Just when I want to get the struggles out of the way before I start praising. One negative thing out of the way before I start praising. Because, yes, it's the first game of the playoffs, and I think the Phillies are going to have a nice little run here. When it comes to Dusty Watson last night, you get into that first inning. Kyle Schwarber gets the leadoff single. How about that? Singles hitter. Gets a 2-1 fastball, is able to put that in the right field. Turner gets a double, and now he gets second and third with nobody out. Bohm hits a line drive down the right field line. I look at it and I go, that's deep enough for Schwarber. My first thought was that is deep enough for Kyle Schwarber. I was shocked that he was not sent. I was shocked that he was not sent. It should have been 1-0 Phillies at that point. And then you see the throw, and he absolutely would have scored on the play, and it would have been 1-0 Phillies. So Dusty Watson, his approach to it is, obviously, you got Bryce Harper coming up. You heard from, we'll hear from Rob Thompson after the game. He said the same thing. You got Bryce Harper coming up here. You better be right in that situation. I talk about this all the time in every sport. I talked about it recently with the Jalen Hurts throw to A.J. Brown for that final touchdown of the game for the Eagles this past weekend against the Commanders. There's a great big book of how you do things, and it's very general, but this is what you do. A lot of times that book applies, and you go by the book. If a ball is hit to right field and you have a guy who's not exactly fleet of foot on third base, the great big book of baseball says you don't send him if you got the meat of the order coming up. You got nobody out in the inning. You don't waste that out. And you don't waste that run. Seeing the way Sanchez fielded that ball in right field, I'm sending Kyle Schwarber every single time. There is no way on God's green earth, on the green grass of Citizens Bank Park, to be more specific, that Jesus Sanchez was making that catch with his feet pointed towards the stands, popping around and delivering a strike to home plate. And sure enough, what happened? Made the catch with his feet facing the stands, popped around, went to throw home, and was way up the line over the pitcher's mound. Kyle Schwarber scoring on that play. If I'm Dusty Watson, I'm sending him right there based on how I see his feet set up. Now, for reference, all right, now Kyle Schwarber, you saw give that kind of look like, dude, I could have scored there. If you didn't see it, it's on my timeline. So then you ended up getting nothing out of that inning, unfortunately. Harper ends up striking out on all sliders by Luzardo. That was tough. And then Real Muto flies out to center field. Now let's fast forward. Let's jump right to the next issue there that came in the fourth inning. Phillies are up 2-0 at this point. JT Realmuto led off with a single. Castellanos gets that bloop double. That's where the alleged ring finger happened. No longer alleged. It was the ring finger. Okay. The very next batter up there is Bryson Stott, who puts a single up the middle. RBI single. He plates JT Realmuto. Castellanos rounding third, heading for home. Gun down at home. Chisholm is in center field. All his momentum on this particular ball is coming home. You don't send Castellanos in that spot. You know Castellanos is slow as molasses. And as we've joked about many times, the amount of buttons unbuttoned allows for too much wind resistance. He is not aerodynamically dressed, okay? The plunging neckline held him up a wee bit. All the momentum is going home. I don't send him. The fielder is in a good position to make a good throw. He's in a great position to make a great throw. It was a bang-bang play. Still, I wouldn't have sent him at that point. So at that point, it was 2-0 Phillies. Pache comes up there. He gets the single as well. It's a 3-0 ball game. Rojas then flies out to center. Schwarber's down actually in that inning as well. So I wouldn't have sent Castellanos. So struggles there for Dusty Wathan. Now let's go into the smoking gun. It's never a good thing if you start to get ignored. In the 8th inning, Castellanos got a second double of the ball game. Bryce Harper was on first. The ball was hit down the left field line, so everything is in front of Bryce Harper. He's rounding second, heading for third. You just know there is nothing that's going to stop Bryce Harper, and certainly not Dusty Wathan. He blows through the stop sign being held up by Dusty Wathan and scores. If you're being ignored as a third base coach, obviously at this point, it's not your best night. Bryce Harper, to his credit after the game, did not throw Dusty Wathan under the bus. He said that he didn't see the stop sign. I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't believe you, Bryce Harper, but I still love you. And God bless you for just running through that sign, because at that point, I think they even made a reference to it at that point in the 8th inning, that Craig Kimbrell was already up in the Phillies bullpen. You get as many runs across the plate as possible. And maybe Harper made up for Kyle Schwarber not scoring there in the first inning. I don't know. But that was the only thing I looked at in last night's game that I went, well, actually, that was one of two things. The second thing was, and this is to start off on a positive note, Zach Wheeler was so unbelievable, so nasty last night. And the sweeper was on another level. And when he said after the game, actually, but without further ado, here's Zach Wheeler on his performance. I'll let the man speak for himself.
As soon as I step foot out of the dugout to go stretch out there in the bullpen, the crowd went nuts and I got chills. So, it started right there, and I think it just kind of carries into me, doing the baseball. Definitely helps.
Next question, Todd, first row here.
Was that your best stuff of the season, do you feel like?
That was the best the sweeper's been. That was a big pitch for me tonight, and I just had a very good feel for where to start it and what it was going to do. It did the same thing every single time, no matter if I threw it up or down. So, it was a big pitch for me tonight, and we really relied a lot on it. And I was talking to JT about it just now, and I don't know. I mean, fastball was there, velo and command for the most part. I know they're an aggressive team, so we just got to go right after them and just keep mixing it up.
One of the things that was so incredible last night with Zach Wheeler was the pitch count through the innings. 10. This is where it was for Zach Wheeler through 6+. All right, 6 2/3. First inning, 10. I'm just going to go through it in order. 10, 10, 12, 14, 16, 11, and then 22 in that 7th inning. The unfortunate thing, now he ended up with 100 pitches even, but the sweeper was nothing short of spectacular last night. You saw it go out there early against Soler. He got his first strikeout of the game, put his sweeper right across the middle of the plate, and Soler had no idea what to do with it. Then later in the ball game, he used it again and again and again and again and again, and it was by far his most dominant pitch. He goes out there in the 7th inning, and this is what's unfortunate. For as great an outing as that was, 6 2/3, 1 run, 4 hits, that is a dominant start there for Zach Wheeler. 8 strikeouts, 5 hits, excuse me. I really wish it didn't end on 2 infield singles. I really wish it didn't end on 2 infield singles. And unfortunately, that's the way it broke down. He gets Soler to start off with another sweeper. In that 7th inning, he strikes him out. Bell then gets the double. Castellanos, decent throw, almost got him there, but Bell's now on second with the 1-out double. Chisholm comes up there, and he gets him to strike out looking at a 96-mile-per-hour sinker. Low in the zone, but it was a pretty big strike zone last night. I will say that much. Then Berger gets the infield single. Harper, well, I originally thought he drifted to his right too much, but he was lined up in that position. He still made a diving attempt at the baseball. When that ball's hit like that, you got to know Bryson Stott's behind you. Harper's got to go to first. Now, grand book of baseball again, okay? Zach Wheeler's got to be at first. The minute that ball is hit to the left side of the infield, to your left from your delivery, the moment that ball is hit to the left, you got to book at the first base. That's spring training baseball. That's Little League baseball. That's the minute the kids start pitching. You go from T-ball to the coach's pitch, and then the kids start pitching. The minute you do that, you make it the first base. You run to first base. Actually, no, the coach's pitch, they still had a kid there at first. He had to go cover, or a pitcher, he had to go cover first just in case. You book it, baby. And Zach Wheeler didn't book it. He hesitated. With that being said, he's got to make the play. If you have a more experienced first baseman, if Rhys Hoskins is playing first, he's probably retreating immediately to the bag to get the out, and then you're out of the inning. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. Harper isn't able to come up with the ball when he dove. Wheeler's late getting to first base, so now you got an infield single. You got first and third with 2 outs. De La Cruz then provides the only scoring blemish on Zach Wheeler's record for the night. And credit to Alec Boehm because he saved a situation there that would have had a runner on third base with 2 outs. But still, Alec Boehm makes a great play from his butt, fires to first, and it's just late, ends up being the second infield single of the inning, and ends up being an RBI infield single there for De La Cruz. It's now a 3-1 ball game at this point. That was the only thing that really I looked at last night, and I went, damn it. Like, from a playing perspective, that was the only real blemish I saw with the Phillies. Everything else was gravy, man. It was absolute gravy. And you saw in that inning, Zach Wheeler get taken out 6 2/3. Crowd gives him an ovation. He tips his cap. You heard him right there crediting the crowd because it was beautiful. We'll get to that in a second. But I just hated the idea that that's how it ended for Zach Wheeler. He had a great start, pitched phenomenally well, pitched like an ace should pitch, and certainly set the bar high for Aaron Nola as a tough act to follow. But that was the only thing I saw with the way the Phillies played last night that I had an issue with. Everything else was great. The other thing was just coaching, and that has to do with Dusty Wathan. Not a good game for him last night. Now, when it came to the lineup, literally everybody hit. Every starter hit. Brandon Marsh was 0 for 2 on the night, unfortunately. But everybody got a hit that was a starter. You saw guys come up in the clutch. I like the fact that over the last 2 series of the season against the Pirates and the Mets, I got what I wanted in a couple of different scenarios. One, I got the fact that the Phillies won 90 games. I got Alec Boehm hitting 20 home runs, and I got Bryson Stott getting a break. Bryson Stott only played 2 games in each of the last 2 series, so he got at least 2 days off over the last 2 series. That was great. Came out last night, got that big RBI single to got the Phillies to a 2-0 lead. Before that, it was Alec Boehm in the 3rd inning coming up with an RBI double to left field. And that was after this. Talk about the offense. We can talk about the shortcomings, unfortunately, not being able to cash in with runners on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out in the 1st inning. But, man, in the 3rd, Johan Rojas comes out there with a 9-pitch at bat, and he wins that battle with a single to left field. Single to right field and a 9-pitch at bat. Then Schwarber comes up there. There's a wild pitch. Johan Rojas reads it beautifully, gets to second base, and it gets in the scoring position. Trey Turner then unfortunately makes a second out of the inning, popping out to second. And then Alec Boehm, clutch, double down the left field line, just off the turn down the left field line. Rojas scores, Boehm standing on second base, and then Harper lines out the 3rd to end that inning. But it's a 1-0 game after the 3rd. Then you go into the 4th inning. That's when Stott came up with the RBI single. You had Real Muto and Castellanos leading off with hits there. Castellanos with the double. Stott gets the RBI single. Castellanos throwing at home. Pache comes up with the RBI single. Stott scores, and then they're done after that. 3-0 Phillies, and then they get the extra one when Harper booked it around the bases in the 8th inning on the Castellanos RBI double for the 4-1 Phillies lead. 2 things outside the field of play last night. You guys have heard me say this a lot. There's no better time in Philadelphia than September and October, when the Phillies are in a playoff push, they make the playoffs, and the Eagles are awesome. I mean, either way, Eagles starting, it's awesome to have this kind of energy in South Philadelphia. It is amazing. And last night, man, I think Philadelphia is beautiful. Philadelphia is never more beautiful than playoff baseball beautiful. And you were looking sexy last night, Philadelphia. You could feel it. I mean, it was coming through the TV. It was absolutely palpable. And then they announced Rhys Hoskins. Now, John Brazier went on WIP, Director of Fun and Games for the Phillies. John's awesome. Goes on WIP and teases that it's going to be an incredible first pitch. The last person on my mind was probably Rhys Hoskins. I didn't even cross my mind. And I saw everyone coming out afterwards saying it was the perfect guy. Maybe I'm a heartless bastard. I don't know. But that was fine. I was like, all right, cool. Whatever. I thought the team loves it. Nick Castellanos said after the game that he was like getting teary-eyed. He was like, "This is so beautiful, it's so great, it's awesome." You know, I was like, okay, all right, good, that's nice. Hate to be a wet blanket, but being honest, I was like, okay, I know it was a talking point for a lot of people last night on the old internet. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. This is better for the team than it is for me. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Whatever puts this team in the right mindset. And then Zach Wheeler throws strike one. And the place erupted, as you would expect. Bryson Stott makes a hell of a play in that first inning to rob Bell of what would have been his first hit of the night. Makes a great dive to his right, comes up with it, throws him out at first base. Almost came up with another one there in the fourth inning as well before Bell got his first hit of the ballgame. That time diving to his left and he just dove over it. But in the first inning, Stott dives, gets the baseball, throws it out, place explodes. Just imagine being Jesus Luzardo. Imagine being the Miami Marlins and all of Philadelphia explodes with just strike one. If that's not setting it up for 3 to 4 hours of hell, as Rob Thompson puts it, I don't know what would. But that certainly sets the bar. I saw they were interviewing on ESPN Chisholm before the game started. He said, I'm not even human. This is awesome. Whether they boo me or cheer me, it feels great. Whatever. And the crowd's electric. And after the game, what do you call it? The Marlins were talking about it as well, as great as the crowd was. If that's not energizing, if Philadelphia is not sending electric shock waves through every player to get them a little bit more of a boost of energy, I don't know how you're not riding on that high. And it certainly looked like last night Zach Wheeler was riding on that high and was not coming down anytime soon. That was unbelievable. Now do it again for Aaron Nola. The crowd will be there. The crowd will be consistent. The crowd will have ace quality stuff. It's a matter of whether or not they can put a charge into Aaron Nola to have that ace quality stuff. But the crowd was absolutely insane last night. It was fantastic. And you don't expect it to be anything. You don't expect it to be any different. You really don't expect it to be any different than what you got last night in South Philly. That was beautiful. The play was great. The pitching was great. The hitting was clutch. Everything was awesome. After the game, Rob Thompson addressed the media, talked about his starting pitcher, and the energy felt.
That point, but Wheels was fantastic all night. I mean, this guy's been consistent all year. He's been really good, but I thought tonight his stuff was as good or better than any other start all year.
Rightfully so, because it was. He said it himself. Put a bow on the Dusty Wathan situation there at third base. He was Rob Thompson was asked about it after the game, saying what happened basically in the first inning, and here's how Rob Thompson put it down.
In the first inning, you have to be careful there because Sanchez can throw, and it was a little bit offline. By our reports, he's a more accurate thrower than that throw there. And you've got Harper coming to the plate. So you better make sure with the catch making the first out, you better make sure that guy's going to be standing up at the plate.
Down here in the front.
There you go. The general mindset is you'd better be right. If you're going to send him, you better be right. He would have been right. And Schwarber's look after that throw came in, because Schwarber was going, man. He was going. But after that play, you saw him glare there at first base, or excuse me, glare at Dusty Wathan at third base. Like, yeah, I could have made that. Should have said me. Why'd you hold me up, bro? That's it. And I didn't see Kyle Schwarber asked about it after the game. At least I didn't read it. I didn't see it. I don't know. But by all accounts, yeah, he would have been safe. He would have been. I mean, it's not even a question if he would have been. He would have been safe. Factually speaking, he would have been safe. The question is whether or not you make that decision, because it's not like Dusty Wathan could stand there and look at the throw and be like, okay, go now. No, that wasn't going to be the case. But he was going. He was raring and ready to go. Phillies are back at it tonight. 8:08 start time in South Philly. Aaron Nola gets the ball. I told you guys yesterday that I see this going 3. I don't want it to go 3. I want it to be over. Hell, you know what I really like? I wouldn't mind it going 3. Then you could have another day of rest for Zach Wheeler and have him ready to go earlier in the series there against the Braves. So going 3 wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It would give us all agita and anxiety, but other than that, it would be fun. No. Aaron Nola, and I've made this point many times, he's got his best 3-game stretch of the season. In his last 3 starts, he hasn't allowed more than 2 runs. In his last start, he went 6 2/3, allowing 1 run. It's one of his better starts of the season, obviously. That is his best start, best stretch. 4 2/3, though, as I've been saying, not much of a brag, but still, it's a start. Second start, 6 innings, 2 runs. Okay, good. Most recent start, 6 2/3, 1 run. Okay, that's a good stretch. The best stretch of Aaron Nola's season. So if there was going to be a reason for him to turn it around and for you to have faith, more so, if there was a reason for you to have faith that Aaron Nola's figured it out, if I were to tell you that he was going to struggle all season long and then have his best 3-game stretch of the season right before the playoffs, you got to be feeling pretty good, right? Right. Well, the last time he did not have a good start was against this Marlins team, unfortunately. 4 1/3, 4 runs charged to Aaron Nola. Not his best. Not his best. Unfortunately, it's for the most part what we have seen from him so far this season. So it's not what we saw, but not so far, but it's what we have seen from him this season. I hope that this is him figuring it out. I hope that this is him having figured it out. I know the crowd will be there behind him, and I know the crowd will be there to amp him up just a little bit, just like they did for Zach Wheeler last night. The question will be whether or not he's going to have his ace quality stuff. Because if you get these guys as your 1-2 punch in the playoffs, then a World Series ring is absolutely possible. Nick Castellanos putting a ring on it. To the people on the podcast, just envision me giving you the ring finger, not the middle finger, but the ring finger. So I want to have faith and I want to have confidence that Aaron Nola is going to go out there tonight and just straight up dominate. And my Disney-colored glasses, my Homer hat, to put that on, put those both on for a second. He goes out there, and, man, he just dominates. He gives you 7 strong. He gives you 7 innings, 2 runs of dominant pitching. But why would I believe that right now? Oh, because it's the playoffs and they flip a switch? I'd love for that to be the case, but my thought is if you've struggled in the regular season, that's just how you pitch. And you might come out there and you might ride that adrenaline for a couple of innings. Doesn't surprise me when I see it from Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler's been their best and most consistent pitcher all year long. Aaron Nola, it would surprise me. Do I think he's a better pitcher than what we have seen? Yes. Do I think he's all of a sudden discovered it in the last the week and a half of the season? That might be a bit of a stretch. That might be more of the Homer hat. That might be more of the rose-colored glasses. That might be the Disney-colored glasses. I don't know, whatever you want to describe it. I ain't buying it until I see it. And I hope tonight is, let's face it, Aaron Nola's still in a contract year, folks. He can make that year look, he can make his year disappear contract-wise by a dominant playoff push. I hope he gets that he will get that opportunity. I hope he cashes in on that opportunity tonight. Braxton Garrett will get the start for Miami. He has pitched well against the Phillies this season, so it should be an interesting one to say the absolute least. How dare I? How dare I? So Zach Wheeler goes out after 6 2/3. So he's out there in the 7th inning with 1 out remaining. Jose Alvarado goes in there. Alvarado. Oh, man, did he handle it last night? Goes out there, gets the strikeout to get out of the inning. Gurriel goes up in there and pinch hits for Sanchez. There was a wild pitch. De La Cruz advanced. Berger advanced. Now got 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. And he strikes out Gurriel to get out of that inning. Then they bring him back out for the 8th inning. I never liked them up downs with them bullpen arms, but the Phillies decided to go with it tonight. He ended up getting 2 more outs. Then Hoffman came in. He got out of the jam in the 8th inning. Kimbrel came in, gave up the 1, hit the bell. It was a double. And as soon as I saw that, I started just hyperventilating. And then Kimbrel was able to get out of it. No strikeouts for Craig Kimbrel last night. And he had more intentional balks than he did strikeouts. One thing that I heard Ricky Metallico, I watched NBC's post game this morning. One thing Ricky Bo pointed out was that it's not a matter of stealing signs. It's a matter of reading the grip in Kimbrel's glove. So that's what went down there, and Kimbrel don't like it. Instead of advancing a runner, This is so frustrating. How is it a better option to advance a runner than it is to shield your, instead of having your, hold on one second. I forgot I had props. Thank goodness I still have my trusty Brooks Robinson mitt down here, okay? How is this and advancing a runner a better option? How is this a better option than this? This. For the people on the podcast, I am doing a dumb thing, now a smart thing. Dumb thing, smart thing. Showing the ball, showing the grip, not showing it. See how that works? The inside of it still smells amazing. Anyway, that was whatever. That's what Craig Kimball decides to do. That's what he likes to do. So he does the intentional walk. Runner moves to third. You can tell me it doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't like it at all. But apparently that's what they're doing. They're reading the grip. All right. So, but bottom line, hats off to the bullpen. They only allowed 2 hits last night. Alvarado got 2 strikeouts. Hoffman got his out. Kimbrel got his save. All was right with the world. Phillies and Zach Wheeler were dominant last night. That's all that really matters. Let's move along and talk a little football, shall we? Like I said, Phillies and Marlins back at it tonight. 8:08 start time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 4 of the 6 2/3. So 4 of the 7 innings that Wheeler went out there for tonight or last night. 4 of them were 1, 2, 3 innings. Not a bad start. Not a bad start to the postseason. Certainly not a bad start. Before I get into the chat check or anything like that, I do want to get into the football world here. A lot of people are having this thought about where they should have the Phillies, where they should have the Eagles in their mind in terms of how good are they at 4-0. And a lot of people are talking about, oh, they're 4-0, right? They're 4-0. They're so great. But they haven't really played great. They haven't had that complete game. I mean, the Bucs is the closest thing. They handled that very well. So a lot of people are talking about where they have the Phillies or the Eagles. Yeah, I did it again. Where they have the Eagles right now in terms of versus the 49ers versus the Cowboys, teams that have blown out other teams and looked pretty damn dominant. The Eagles aren't a team that you could put in that category just yet, not with the way they've looked this season. Now, overall, the Eagles just find ways to win. So why wouldn't I believe that they would find a way to win against the Cowboys? Why wouldn't I believe that they could find a way to win against San Francisco 49ers? So yesterday, I had our friend Hollis Thomas on the show. And in case you missed it, Hollis, I thought, had the perfect mindset. I thought he had the perfect mindset when it came to how you approach being 4-0 with this squad, with the imperfect, perfect record. If you're a member of the Philadelphia Eagles and you know you haven't played your best football yet, different category. Like, for instance, offensively, you've had your best game. Defensively, you've had a great game. Not maybe against the best possible opponents, but you've risen to every occasion. How do you know you've put it all together? How do you feel about it? If you've still not played consistently throughout it, 4 quarters, every unit and all that stuff, and played close to a perfect game, how do you measure yourself? This is the way Hollis Thomas put it yesterday, and I think the man is just brilliant with the way he is of putting things. Jalen Hurts is not satisfied, never satisfied, all that stuff.
Right.
They're 4-0 right now, Hollis Thomas.
Yep.
If you're in that locker room, how are you feeling about the 4-0 record? How are you feeling about the imperfect, perfect record?
Well, the way I would be feeling is like all the W's are the victories are not going to be pretty, but the W's are sexy. So I know that I have to do more. I have to do more, and in saying that, you have to maximize your sexy on a daily basis is what I do. I go out, I eat to work out, and I work out to eat. So it's like you have to it's like your body. You have to constantly work on it, or if you let it go, if you rest on your morals, you be that fat ass dude standing by the pool thinking that you're cute, all oiled up, looking like a Christmas ham instead of a delicious, tasty, well-cut turkey.
Now that you put it that way, Hollis, That's the mindset you got to have. So if you're looking at this Eagles team right now and you're saying, you know what, they got blemishes, they don't look like that turkey, they look like that ham, then you got the right mindset of a player. You got the right mindset of a player. One more thing I want to play for you regarding the Eagles. So James Bradberry, I don't like him in the slot. This is a two-parter. I allowed two answers here. The first answer is just James Bradberry and his overall performance in the slot. The second, you hear the question from Dave Zangaro, and it's, are you getting the best value out of James Bradberry with him in the slot, considering how good he is on the outside? And I think that's a perfect way to put that question. Here's how Sean Desai broke it down, and it leads me to believe well, I'll let you hear it, and I'll give you my breakdown. I don't want to influence how you hear it, okay? I'll do that after. But here's Sean Desai on James Bradberry in the slot.
I thought James did a good job. I really did. I thought he did a good job in the slot, and it's a different game in there. And I've told you guys that before. Things happen on both sides of you. You got all the motion adjustments. You got all your tools, and you're the primary communicator at the point of attack. And you're working with corners, safeties, linebackers. You're kind of in the middle of everything. And he did a really good job, and it really shows kind of his veteran prowess and his veteran ability to be able to go into that role after such a long career at corner and do that. And we're going to continue to have plans for him to get in multiple spots for us, and he's just been such a tremendous asset for us as a veteran and a leader in that room.
Are you getting enough value out of him in the slot, given his history at outside corner?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, this was really the first game he kind of had a chunk amount of reps at the slot. So I think it's a little bit early to decide that. He did what we asked him to do as a defense, what we needed kind of him as a defense. And I think every week we kind of look at our matchups and try to put our guys in the best position. If that means in the coming weeks he becomes more of a corner, then that's what we'll do. But, as we're getting into this process, trying to go against the Rams, we'll try to figure out what is best for him and really us.
All right, here's what I got out of all that. It's been a little bit of a struggle. I'll translate according to my own brain. It's been a little bit of a struggle for James Bradberry in the slot, and it's been a struggle for people on the outside as well, trying to fill in for James Bradberry, who's a pretty damn good corner, I might add. Some would say, especially in the second half of last season, your best corner. Darius Slay dealing with a little bit of a knee injury that apparently was nagging him as the year went on. But I don't like this. I do not like. To me, we talk about this all the time with offensive linemen. Why we got a guy who's a good backup left tackle, and you're going to put him in at left tackle and move Jordan Mailata to right. So, for instance, Andre Dillard last year, they got worse at two positions. Now, Dillard actually surprised me and played well at left tackle, and Mailata did well at right tackle. But often we talk about it in football where we talk about why would I make two should only really make one position worse. For me, I'm riding and dying with Slay and Bradberry on the outside, and then I'm going with whatever I can on the inside. I'm going to make sure they get help, whether it's from a linebacker, whether it's from a safety, whatever it might be. But I don't like the idea of now downgrading two positions in an attempt to try to make up for one. Against the Buccaneers, it made a little bit of sense to me. Mike Evans catches a lot of passes over the middle. He spends a lot of time in the middle of the field. Have one of your better corners in the middle of the field. That I get. Commanders, I don't get. I don't like it. I don't like it even a little bit. I'd much rather have somebody out there that is just going to be thrown into the fire. Sidney Brown, if he's healthy, I'd love to see him out there running around playing that slot corner position, because Sidney Brown has that type of mindset of, yeah, whatever. You're going to start at safety today. Okay, yeah, well, sure, whatever. You're going to be our slot corner today. Yeah, sure, whatever. You're going to be our backup quarterback. Yeah, sure, whatever. You're going to be our kicker. Yeah, sure, whatever. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to perform. He's going to figure it out. Man's got confidence. Man's got cojones. I want Sidney Brown, if he's healthy, to be in that slot spot. That's where I want him to be. You're going to have other starting safeties out there, assuming Justin Evans is healthy. Terrell Edmonds, who I admit did not have a great game as a safety either. Let an intercept. First off, had the penalty at the goal line, ended up being only a 1 yard penalty. But then he dropped the touchdown, or the interception in the end zone, rather. Dropped that. Got the late hit penalty, which is, as I described earlier, I don't fault him even a little bit. Sam Howell, you saw, was trying to extend the play. The All-22 came out yesterday. I saw it. Sam Howell is getting ready to extend the football over the first down marker, and Terrell Edmonds knocks him out of bounds. That's a football play. He's a runner, but it's the NFL. He's a quarterback. That's that. I don't like it, but that's just the way they call the game nowadays. It's unfortunate. It's all the advantage. By me attempting to even look like I'm going for one more yard, I can get 15 more yards. And I don't even have to run 15 more yards. I can just fall down here and get the call. I hate it. I hate every second of it. I don't like it one bit. By the way, the Eagles and the secondary is going to be put to the test, especially if Cooper Kupp is playing in this game. Because Nakua is just an absolute beast of a receiver right now, and Matt Stafford can still sling it. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge there for the Eagles secondary. So you better be on point. Also, I'm just seeing this come across. Brandon Lee Galton, Bleeding Green Nation, just put this out yesterday, as a matter of fact. Jalen Carter ranks second. Speaking of the Rams, Jalen Carter ranks second of all NFL interior defenders with 20 pressures. He's only behind Aaron Donald, who has 22 pressures. Now keep this in mind. Jalen Carter has 85 fewer snaps than Aaron Donald. So I think what this means is that the Eagles have the best interior defensive lineman in all of football. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Anyway, that is absolutely insane. Ugh, good Lord. Let me tell you about MyBookie, the great people of MyBookie. You see it down there in the crawl. Up to a $200 cash bonus when you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy at MyBookie, where you could bet on the NFL. You could bet on college football. You could bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag for more information. And also use promo code Farzy for up to $200 cash bonus right there. You guys can check it out right there at MyBookie. They have all sorts of stuff. Odds boosts, props, everything. Parlays, want to cash out early, put it right back in for a bigger payday. You can do it right now at MyBookie. So check out MyBookie and use promo code Farzy for up to $200 cash bonus. Check out all things at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Let's see how you guys are doing today. I'm going to go into the chat check right now on the Farzy Show page. See how you wonderful people are doing over here. IBH, what's going on? Mally, in Rob we trust. Travis, what's up? Rob from the Saints, just like Mike Jenkins, CJ Johnson. Now, Roby, yes, they made an acquisition yesterday. I didn't see it become official yet. Jordan Schultz had the story. Fine. Whatever helps their secondary. Absolutely. Sean Kilrain, I hope Nola pitches a gem. That's all we're asking for. Yes. Like, to go back over last year, for instance, Aaron Nola's struggles began, I really remember it, in the World Series. That's where I remember he pitched a couple of good innings and then he started out terrible. What am I saying? Then he settled in a little bit. But I really remember his struggle starting in the World Series, and he was not able to put some good runs together there, as we know. But looking at his postseason numbers last year, NLCS, he gotten to a little bit. World Series, he made 2 starts. He only went 8 1/3 over those 2 starts in the World Series. He allowed 13 hits and 8 runs. So really the struggles did start in the NLCS. If part of the problem for Aaron Nola this year was fatigue, I don't see how he just gets better in the playoffs. That's why I originally picked this series to go 3 games. I want to be wrong. A lot of times I have to root to be wrong because I don't want a prophecy I have that's negative on Philadelphia sports to be fulfilled. But sure enough, You look at the numbers this season, and as we all know, watching him every single game, every single start, he has not had his best stuff all year long. So what am I to believe? If the biggest brag on Aaron Nola is that he's been an innings eater, that's not a big brag for a guy who's supposed to be an ace or a 1A or a number 2 on a starting rotation. So, yeah, who knows? Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Swing it back to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. What's up? Professor Dutch, good morning. October is the best month of the year. And this one is for many reasons why. Did you see the hype video the Phillies put out? I wish I could play it for you here. I'd get dinged if I did, but man, it was run through a brick wall worthy. Just talking about like Garrett Stubbs, just talking about how great this city is in October, talking about how great Citizens Bank Park. If you want to understand Philadelphia, come to Citizens Bank Park in October. It was a phenomenal job. They did a phenomenal job. Phillies are now 23-11 in playoff games at Citizens Bank Park. That's the best winning percentage in baseball history in the postseason. Thank you, Sean Kilrain. Did they put that up last night? I think they put that up last night. They have certainly been fantastic. That's what you call home field advantage. Concerned about anyone not named Alvarado or Hoffman in the bullpen. But how about this? Speaking of that, Professor Dutch, I'll finish your thought here. But it's absolutely about to be a fish fry. I love it. NLDS better have some afternoon games. Getting old of this tired stuff. Yeah, I hear you. But here's the deal. With the bullpen, Orion Kerkering and Weston Wilson both made the postseason roster. Weston Wilson, yeah, you give you some pop off the bench. You never know when you need that pinch hitter late in the ball game. Love it. And then on the other side of it, Orion Kerkering, 3 games he appeared in. And he was dominant. A couple hits, a walk, whatever. 6 strikeouts in 3 innings. Okay, yeah. Come get some, son. Love the idea of him being on the postseason roster. Phillies defense was outstanding, says IBH. Yes, it was. Sean Kilmer and Rojas playing like a seasoned vet. Love it. Love that kid's energy. Here's another guy. I just talked about it with Sidney Brown. He's got a whatever type of mentality. Johan Rojas, go start in center field. Postseason game number 1. Yeah, whatever. Not phased. Never phased. Mally, what's going on? I'm going to say it. Glad he's getting better, but I don't want the guy playing first. We don't need him. Who's that, Bryce Harper? You don't want Bryce Harper playing first, Mally? Sean Kilmer, I want Bryce Harper playing. What's the alternative? Schwarber back and left? I do, thank you. Bryce Harper is a better first baseman than Kyle Schwarber is left fielder. I think that goes without saying. Plus, the improvement you can have by not having Schwarber as your left fielder. Schwarber to Pache as a left fielder is scary to solid, good, to great. Marsh as a left fielder, great. Yeah. I don't mind Schwarber being a first. Morning, fam. Good morning, April. What's up, April? April, you were up late with me last night for the Fightins post-game show. God bless you joining me right now. Mally, damn, no more OG Kush. Yeah, no, we got a nice presenting sponsor here with our friends there at MyBookie. MyBookie is fantastic. MyBookie.ag. Also, I want to thank our friends at Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. As per usual. And PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. Check out phlsportsnation.com. Just seeing Kirimbo come out raises my blood pressure. Anyone else? Oh, yeah. I don't like it. I'm extremely nervous when I see it. Sean Kilrain, Kush helps you see better, I hear. Should give some of those to the umpires. The umpire was pretty bad last night. I'll take it. It was pretty bad. The hype video was everything, April. I agree. Anything that keeps Schwarbs out of the field with his Burl running style. Oh, Mally. No, my guy. Hoskins. Oh, okay. All right. I got you there. I got you. Let me flip over to the Jacob Media YouTube channel, see what's going on over here. Dank, what's up? Zach Dealer. Damn right. Eric Whitman, the anti-Nola strikes again. Keep it going. I've got them at 22-1 to win it all. All right. There you go. Farzy can't bench the bar. What's up, buddy? Farzy, I'm running on jet fuel and espresso this morning. Might need some other beverages tonight to stomach a Aaron Nola clinching start. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to go with tonight, but I can't drink alcohol because I have a show to do after the game. So I don't like to. If I'm cracking open a microphone, I don't drink. The only time I did crack open a microphone after I drank was when Italy won the Euro. 2 years ago now? 2 years ago now. I was pretty drunk. I interviewed my man Hunter Brody. And I would have Hunter on anyway, but I ran into his would-be and now brother-in-law at Grand Cafe L'Aquila in Center City, which is just an incredible place. And it was all these Italians and Italian-Americans cheering on Italy winning the Euro. And yeah, I had a lot. But I still had a show to do. And by golly, I did the show because you know what I am? I'm a warrior. But yeah, I can't. I don't break that habit too many times. Eagles fan, what's up? I actually watched the third inning and Wheeler was dealing. You actually watched the third inning? Not a baseball fan? Well, Eagles fan, so maybe you don't like baseball at all. Farzy can't bench the bar. I'm with you, Farzy, on the Rhys Hoskins first pitch. There we go. Eagles fan, Nola starting tonight? Nola is starting tonight. Eagles fan, next comment. Nola will blow this tonight. Laugh out loud. Cool. Jose says Joshua Simber. Damn right. Rome V, what's up? Good morning. Joshua, I don't like the bulk. Yes. I don't like the bulk either. Morning, Rome. Morning, everybody. Doesn't matter with all the corners. Going to play 10 yards off the ball. Fair enough. That was a pretty soft penalty. It was BSing sports. That was a very soft penalty. But they're going to call it every single time. When you make that hit on a quarterback, the quarterback can do whatever the hell they want. You hit him, it's going to be a penalty, especially in that type of situation. Brian, what's up? NFL referees are almost as inconsistent as NBA officials. Okay, I agree. A lot of phantom flags in that game against the Eagles. 11 penalties? Yeah, it certainly felt like it. DK, you know Mike Trout is watching the Phillies closely. Wonder when he tells management to send him here. I'm good. I don't like what it's going to cost, both asset-wise and money-wise. And Mike Trout has not exactly shown the ability to stay healthy at this point in his career. So I'm good on that. That ship has sailed, man. I'm good on it. If the Angels are going to pay a poop ton of that salary, sure, roll the dice. But other than that, I'm good. I never thought I'd say that, but I'm good. Someone sent Desai Seth's whiteboard. Yeah. Joshua Simber, he's talking about Rhys getting okay. Barbara, having a real left fielder paid off on the first batter of the game. Babs, you're exactly right. Who was that? Arise. Yeah, Arise lined out to left field, and Pache came in and made a great play. Exactly. No, great point. No, in the moment, I had the same thought. Forgot to mention it earlier, but no, Babs, that's a great point. Thank you for reminding me of that. It was pretty spectacular. Now let's get to the Morning Rush. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great, as per usual. Let's get to the Morning Rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Here's what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the Phillies taking on the Miami Marlins. Game 2 tonight, 8:08 start time, South Philadelphia. Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phillies. As I have mentioned to you guys before, Aaron Nola, the last time he sucked big time at being a pitcher was against this Miami Marlins team. That doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies, I know, going into tonight's game, which is why I don't think the Phillies win tonight. I want to believe that Aaron Nola is going to go out there and dominate, but I just can't buy into it. I just don't believe it. I don't believe. Call me a non-believer. I don't believe. I got to see it. I got to see Nola activate, some kind of postseason button and flip that postseason switch that everyone likes to talk about. I don't see it. I mentioned many times his last 3 starts, his best stretch of the season. Before that, he went 4 1/3, 4 runs on 7 hits against the Miami Marlins back on the 9th of September. And that game was in South Philadelphia. And Phillies spotted him a 5-0 lead. And then in the 5th inning, goes through the lineup one too many times, and the wheels started to come off. Did give up a home run to Hampson. It was a solo home run. And that was just a bit of a rough one there for Nola. So that one kind of sucked big time. And then things started to unravel after that. He was charged for more runs after that, and it was just a tough one. Going for the Marlins in this one. Actually, hold on one second here. Make sure I have this right. Do I have this right? Yeah. Nola goes out there, strikes out Sanchez, Jesus Sanchez, lead up the top of the 5th inning. Then Hampson gets the home run. It's a 5-1 ball game. Gives up a double. Stallings doubles. RBI double. 5-2. Arise singles to left. You got runners on 1st and 3rd with 1 out. It's a 5-2 ball game. Then Bell comes up there. He gets a double. Stallings scores. Arise goes to 3rd. It's a 5-3 ball game. You still got a runner on base there. Hoffman comes in there. He allows the sacrifice fly to Berger. Arise scores. It's charged to Nola. 5-4 ball game. The last time Aaron Nola did not look crisp was against this Miami Marlins team, goes without saying, as I just said. As for tonight's game, Braxton Garrett gets the start for the Marlins. It's another left-handed pitcher, so I assume you would see Christian Pache in left field again. I would assume you would see the same lineup. Over his last couple of starts here, kind of up and down, Garrett's last start against the New York Mets, he went 4 innings, allowing 4 runs, gave up 2 home runs. That was his last start of the season on the 27th against the Mets. Previous to that, he faced that same Mets team, went 6 scoreless against them, and before that went 6 scoreless against the Brewers. Before that, 2 starts in a row where he only allowed 1 run coming out there. So we'll see how he fares tonight. It's been a minute since he faced the Phils. He faced the Phillies on August 2nd. He went 5 innings, allowing 3 runs. And previous to that, he faced him on July 8th, going 5 innings, allowing 3 runs. We'll see how this one shapes up tonight. I'm optimistic about the Phillies offense. I'm not optimistic about Aaron Nola. If the Phillies win this ball game tonight, I have a feeling it's going to be like an 8-6 victory. I don't think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. Final note, James Harden is supposed to show up to training camp today for the 76ers. He is supposed to be a menace. He is supposed to make things difficult for the Sixers. I just want to say thank you to the Philadelphia Phillies and thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles for allowing me this opportunity to not give a damn about whatever the hell James Harden's up to. Check back with me maybe around March, and I'll give a damn. That'll be all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You guys are great. As per usual, this is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie. So check out mybookie.ag for up to $200 cash bonus when you use promo code Farzy. Jim Hyder produced the program, did a wonderful job as per usual. I'll be back with you guys tonight for Fighting's post-game show, so don't miss that. And then, of course, I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning as well. See you guys tonight after what will hopefully be a Phillies victory. I just don't trust Aaron Nola as far as I can throw him. My gut's still telling me this series is going 3. Against the Marlins, it's just never easy for the Phils. Hope I'm wrong. See you guys tonight and tomorrow morning. Peace.